Welcome to the Gospel Road. 1 John 4 is what we'll look at today. It says, Dear friends, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the Spirit of God. Every spirit that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world. You, dear children, are from God and have overcome them, because the one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. They are from the world and therefore speak from the viewpoint of the world, and the world listens to them. We are from God, and whoever knows God listens to us. But whoever is not from God does not listen to us. This is how we recognize the spirit of truth and the spirit of falsehood. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed us his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love. Not that we love God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. This is how we know that we live in him and he in us. He has given us of his Spirit, and we have seen and testify that the Father has sent his Son to be the Savior of the world. If anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in them and they in God. And so we know and rely on the love of God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he loved first. He first loved us. Whoever claims to love God yet hates his brother and or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love his brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. And he has given us this command: anyone who loves God must also love their brothers and sister. 1 John 4. Right off the bat, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. You know, that's a lot of pieces that we can tie into that. Why? Well, think about it. You know, we're talking Christianity here and loving God, but how about someone coming into your workplace saying that they have all these grandiose ideas and these are things that we need to do, and then they make the changes and end up that the changes are not the right thing to do. Yeah, again, when people start sharing information, when you're coming together to discuss something, you have to, again, confirm and verify. We've said that many times, to make sure that it is the right decision, to make sure it is going to go down the path that needs to be for your company, for your department. Yeah, like I said, there's always ways to tie these things in, as, you know, we're trying to build ourselves to be better Christians, and then apply that to our everyday life, both professionally and personally. So today I mow while it's still a mowing season, and I get in the front yard, and man, it's really soft. Almost fell a couple times and was really worried about maybe twisting an ankle. So I'm looking and I'm thinking I need to call Carl from Caddyshack, because we might have a gopher problem. It's just, I don't know. I didn't see one. I didn't see any holes, but the ground is very soft, like It's something's been digging underneath that. And we got to think about that. Think about that. Something digging underneath. Again, not every spirit is right. Not every decision or thought is right. Not every person. You need to test that to understand where they're coming from. What do they have for credentials to really say this is true? This is the right way to go. But then sometimes they can be that gopher. And they're burrowing through and really making the ground soft. Rather than being on that solid ground, now all of a sudden you're on this shaky ground, this soft ground like sand. And it's starting to teeter. We got to think about that. We always do. We always have to verify and make sure that things are being done correctly. Now, being in radio for so many years, being in media, that is something very strong. When someone comes in, it's learning about the market that you're in, the city, the area that you are. So just because you came from somewhere and things were great and you had a winning station, will all of those ideas transfer to this new area? You come from Poughkeepsie to Des Moines. Are those ideas in Poughkeepsie going to work here in Des Moines? You come from Las Vegas, LA. These are really important things as you're trying to build a successful business, to do what it is you're trying to do to reach your vision and be that successful job. It's frustrating too, because it's hard to always know what's right and what's wrong. And you're going to test things, you're going to try things. But remember, when you're doing it, don't go too long, because if it goes too long, it's hard to come back from that. It always comes down to asking the right questions. And I know I ask tons of questions when it comes to certain things. And I'm curious and I wonder and I want to know why. So a person gives me this idea. Well, you tell me why this is a great idea. You tell me why that is going to work here and be something that is going to help us build. Tell me why. And it's interesting when you ask those questions, not everybody can give you an answer to why it is. Then people turn back and look at me and they go, well, you give us an answer. Well, it's not that simple. I've been doing this long enough. I know it's not simple. Many of us have been around this world long enough that we know it's not that simple. It's not a quick answer. Because again, sometimes if you come with that quick answer, you're making that decision from the hip and, that is just not good. Now, there's times when there's issues you need to deal with and you need to solve. And you have to have quick decisions. We had some issues over the weekend with a new show that we're running, and we had some problems, and I had to make some quick decisions. But those quick decisions were to get things back on track, and they were right because it all goes into theory. You're dealing with a computer. So you need to get this done, and this done, those steps to get things back on time, back on track, and do what needs to be done. But not everything works that way. Not everything is black and white, because sometimes that's where thought, psychology comes in. You need to learn. You need to try and understand how to read people, which is the hardest thing to do. You ever thought about being in media that somehow you have to work psychology because you have to understand people and try and understand how they think, because you're trying to give them something that they want, so they're going to listen. And that could be for a music station. It could be for a talk station. Again, a business, you're making widgets. You kind of need to know that what people want, what they're going to buy. Again, there's a little bit of psychology in there. You need to know what the demand is in the market and what people are really looking for. So they're going to buy what you are selling. Maybe you can do it on QVC and then, but wait, there's more. Not one, but two, one for free. No, anyway. But at the same time, while we're doing this, we have to remember that we are to help each other be better, to understand, to love one another. That's the hardest thing to do, to love one another, especially when people drive you absolutely bonkers. One thing you always hear a lot is, I don't have to like you, but I got to love you. I guess there's levels there, but love is love. You need to love that person. Because if you have hate in your heart, love cannot be in the same place. They cannot abide in the same area. So you have to be able to love each other. You need to understand the different personalities, and maybe you're not getting along because your personalities clash. But how can you make that work to do what you need to do to keep moving forward and not use that as a hindrance or an obstacle to not get things done? It's important things that we got to try and put together as we're getting through life and helping people be the best that they can be. Me being the best that I can be, being better today than I was yesterday, being better tomorrow than I am today. It's always our goal. And it's always what we need to try to do, but it's not easy. But we need to remember, not always taking things at face value. Ask the questions. Ask the right questions. Okay, you say this, but why? Why do you say this? Why do you think this is the ideal way to go? Well, because everybody's doing it. That is not the right answer. Because we've always done it this way. Oh, still not the right answer. It does not matter if everybody's doing it. It doesn't mean it's going to work for what you're doing. So you have to really know how to apply that, which then comes to conversations, which comes to meetings, which comes to knowing where you're going, having a vision, having a path, having a strategy to where you're going to get to where you need to be. So you're able to apply that and go, now, is this going to work for us? Is this working in our plan of what we want to do? You have to do that. You have to be focused. There's a lot of lack of focus. And with no focus, you're going to fail. With no vision, things will fail. Need to think about that, right? I need to have a focus. I need to have a vision. I need to have a plan. I don't have one most of the time. At one point I probably did when I was younger. A lot of crazy ideas. Now I am just hoping to have a job every day. I've really dropped that bar low. Guess with a low bar, I'm not always disappointed. Not saying that's the right way either. We all have problems, issues. I know I have so many of them and things that I need to try and deal with, and it's certainly not easy to deal with, but I do my best. One way or the other, it's just one step at a time. But this is where it is important to have a team, a group of people, those confidants, those people that you trust around you. So when things like this happen, you're able to go, what do you think about this? I mean, I'm not sure. Sounds about right, but I don't want to get pulled into this and it completely backfire. It's very important. Watch out for those gophers. If you enjoyed this podcast, you could share it on social media. I always appreciate that. And find me there as well. All the crazy things I end up doing, my words of the day and food I don't know. I got things all out there. Some people enjoy, some people, criticize me. It's fine. But you can find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, My Buddy Jimmy, mybuddyjimmy.com. Try to get all that stuff posted. Now, you can also, on the platform you're listening, be sure to give a rating. Appreciate that as well. That always helps. But thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.
Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.
If you're looking for help with software, app, web development, be sure to check out my friends at ingenuitycompany.com. They believe in their clients. Software development, app development, web development, visioning, design thinking, diagramming, organizational development, strategy. They can help you at the Ingenuity Company. Find out more at ingenuitycompany.com.
Barbecue provided by Kenny's Rib Wagon, catering ribs for your pleasure and serving daily at Plaza Pub, 62nd and Douglas in Des Moines, across from Merle Hay Mall. Find Kenny's Rib Wagon on Facebook.
The Jimmy Olsen Radio Network.